how many water bottles were actually in the backpack. It was like, at first, did I shove 50 water bottles in my backpack? Not necessarily. They were various sizes. And play Run Through the Jungle by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Now playing Run Through the Jungle by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Before I forget, I did put the original video, I put the backpack on my back and strapped in. It was not ideal, and you see later in the video how I took it off and I adjusted ways to float with it better. It can be done that way. Like again, it depends on your buoyancy and your counterbalances. If you have counterbalance, I found that with the amount of water bottles I had, empty water bottles, the backpack wanted to push the back of my head and push my head down into the water almost. You know, it was. And if you have a waist strap that could counterbalance that action, which I do on that backpack, I just didn't use it. The chest carry could be more useful in most applications. Putting the backpack on your chest and I'm hugging it basically. That would probably be more ideal, and that's kind of what more I'm going to test today is that method. You see like a lot of old school or even the new inflatable vests, most of the inflation is on the front side. It's designed to keep your head up out of the water and not down in the water. If it's on your back and you don't have anything on the front, it's gonna want to push your head down. So that was and I want to be able to test this gear that I use. If I'm going to recommend a product to someone, I'm going to test it in conventional and unconventional ways. That way, if I do recommend something to someone, I know I put it through, you know, a decent amount of testing. That being said, I don't really recommend a lot of things to people, but I want to know the gear works for me and what I'm going to be using it for, right? And that's why companies also have their lawyers and their disclaimers, their warnings that do not use this for that or this, and then blah 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 blah. Could be better, could be worse. Also, did say in the other video we have a life vest for the dog, which we did. I can't find it. That's one of the other things. You have all these things a lot of the times, and you don't use them every day, so when you go to look for them, you don't know where they are. I went to the storage unit, I checked with my ex-wife, and we can't find his life vest anywhere. So what I did was I went to a local shop, and I bought one very similar to the old one, but the shop owner personally recommended this vest that I'm going to be using, and this is not sponsored by this particular brand or anything. It's just it's a brand I like for my dog, and we don't know how this particular life vest is going to hold up, so we are going to try it out in the water. So I'm hoping, you know, everything goes well. I'll be there with him, and we're not going to be doing anything ridiculous with the dog anyway. But the boat or the store owner or manager did recommend this vest, and what is it? They has a nice handle. They said they pull the dog up on the boat when they're out there. It's very comfortable. It's not as bulky as some of the other Coast Guard approved vests. So we're gonna try it out. We'll see if he likes it or not. And yeah, it's just good to have. It's good to know where all your gear is, and that's kind of what I'm doing this for too, as well. It's just good excuse to get some exercise and refine some of the old skills we've had from a long time ago. All right, so had some answer some questions for some of the folks in the shadows. Did a water backpack challenge to see how many empty water bottles would float a 220-pound man with gear. So some people were criticizing me about my backpack is a legit backpack. I mean, it's designed for rugged wear and tear. It's practically a safe. It's got wire mesh that would prevent against tears, so your cargo is safe within the backpack. It is older. I've been using it for years, and it's a trusty backpack. But it is a legit backpack. Not everyone can afford a backpack like that. So 50 water bottles shoved in my backpack, you know, empty water bottles. Not quite, but there were various sizes, and the point of the exercise was thinking outside the box. Can you float with water bottles if you didn't have proper life vests or U.S. Coast Guard approved life vests? And the answer I found was yes, it's possible. It's not ideal, but it could work in an emergency situation. Some of you nerds out there already figured out the exact math, how much air would it take to float a full-grown man with gear. And it varies. It depends on your size, your weight, your abilities, your swimming capabilities, and you want to adjust the buoyancy or the, you know, your weights accordingly for your application. Think of scuba divers and all that stuff. They have weights depending on, you know, how deep they want to go and how fat, you know, stuff like that. Anyways, there's so many different ways you could do it, and again, I do not recommend trying this anywhere unless you're with trained professionals or a safety team. So long story short, today I am doing this. I went to my storage unit. My daughter has an old backpack. It's more of a standardized backpack you would find most people would have. It's cheaper. It's what a lot of kids probably, you know, would take to school, or adults would take to work. It's not very, you know, it's a simple backpack. So I'm gonna attempt the water bottle floating again with this backpack, and I'm gonna put it through a little bit of a test. You know, the exercise is I need to hike through this terrain and get to this little beach where the boat will pick us up. If the boat's not there, we're gonna have to float. So we'll see what happens. It could work. It's not ideal. Series. An idealist, right? Well, life just happens sometimes. It doesn't matter how prepared you are. Like a hound dog howling. People laughing. It's all good, I think. Guess dog says everything's good. Let's go. Get in the boat. Get in the boat. Where's the boat? Where's the boat? Where's the boat? It's supposed to be here. Not here. The boat is not coming. Alright, so we got some water. Full waters, obviously. And I don't want to diminish my water supply. Is this the boat? It's not a boat. Let's see if this works. We have some flotation. I think it will work, but we're loaded down with gear and we have some reserves here. Dog, let's go. Come here. We'll see. Hold. Okay. Dog is floating. We can touch right here. What do you think, dude? Watch out for that stick, bro. Got you, buddy. All right, dude. Ready? Go. Wrong. Watch out for that stick. Hey. All right. Good boy. The dog has more floating capabilities with this vest. We haven't tried it extensively, like I said, but we will. And definitely seems more comfortable for him in his older age. And it's got this nice harness where I can lift him up if I need to. Yeah, all right, backpack. Second backpack. Need more float. I really do hope this motivates some people to make better products, right? And to learn more about the dangers of everyday life, water in particular. Alright. So earlier we didn't want to get rid of our water supply, but we're probably gonna have to now. But so this particular setup, I don't have enough float, right? Per my weight, my body weight with this vest on and this bag setup, which is frustrating, but it definitely helps keep me more buoyant in the water. And you can see the bag floats. It's just I'm too heavy. The water bottles are holding up. So I can make a decision here. I can drop the vest. What would you do? Would you drop the armor, the vest? Drop the plates? Shove water bottles in the, replace the plates with water bottles? Empty ones? Drop the plates. Floating. I don't know for how long, but I'm floating. All right. So we drop the plates. Catch 22. All right, bud. It's all right, bud. So leads me to my next. Put water bottles in my vest if I have to, right? You know the camelbacks that they issue to soldiers these days, you used to have to buy those. I think they issue them now. But those bladders, I wonder, you know, they've been water. I'd rather have, rather idealists, right? I'd rather have everything. Someone asked me what the sign language or the emotes were on my first video. I wonder if the boat's gonna come pick us up. So So the other day I had my backpack on my back, which is not ideal for some. It's better to have like a flotation like this on your front, because if it's on your back, it can forward. That being said, I can do it, but the best, I think, position I've found that's more comfortable is and you can just hold on. We're running out of battery. 21%. Bumper. Look, the boat's not coming, and I'm not leaving my stuff here, so we can get there. But we're gonna go back through where we came. All right. Something to keep in mind is your dog can't overheat with that stuff on. So I'm about to strip it off of him in a little bit. Maybe right now, hold on. Bud, come here. Go. Check this guy out. How's it going, buddy? Now, there's you're not supposed to touch certain wildlife and stuff, but like I'm worried about them being on this trail, but I think he'll be all right if we leave. He'll probably keep on his way. Good luck, dude. We're almost to our secondary exfil location. Something to keep in mind. Always got to check for leeches and ticks and stuff like that. My boots are soaked, and so I have to clean all my gear again. But that's part of the fun, right? Everything looks dry. Water bottles still have air in them, and this is where well, it works clearly. I'm home. Water bottles. That's how many water bottles I had in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some rubber duckies. No go for the ducks. But the bag held up. Like I said, it is it's not ideal, right? But I don't know, it's just could work. Definitely recommend getting familiar with, if you're going to be doing water stuff, with US Coast Guard approved products. If you're going to use it, know it. And then life vests. I think a lot of people favor the foam life vests over the inflatables, because if the inflatables get punctured, you're kind of screwed.